Let's get more on this now with David Dunn. He's a professor of international politics at the University of Birmingham in the UK. What does this victory, David, mean for the Republican race? What are your main takeaways?
My main takeaways are that clearly Trump has a huge amount of momentum, and that this victory makes it difficult for the other two candidates who are still in the race to win the nomination from Trump. But I'd also say that we shouldn't get too exaggerated an idea of how popular Trump is across the United States by these large numbers in Iowa, because Iowa is very untypical of the rest of the United States. At 3 million people in Iowa, it's less than 1% of the population of the United States. It's older, whiter, less well educated in college education. It's more evangelical, it's more rural than the rest of America, and therefore it's the type of place that would vote for Trump. Another thing to say is that because Trump has been president before, he actually has the name recognition of like an incumbent rather than a new type of candidate that we normally see in the Iowa caucuses in other sort of years. So this exceptional result is due in part to exceptional circumstances.
So what you're saying, David, is that we shouldn't necessarily see this as a litmus test for the rest of the US in terms of this race for the White House. Okay, and I want to talk about Trump a bit more in a minute, but first of all, this battle for second place between Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis. What more have we learnt about them and how effective their campaign has been so far?
Well, really what we should do is look at a graph of the support for DeSantis and the graph for Nikki Haley. DeSantis, having spent hundreds of millions of dollars on this campaign in Iowa and visited all 99 of the states, has only just beat Nikki Haley in this race. So his support overall is going down, where Nikki Haley's support is going up. So she is more likely to succeed in a week's time in New Hampshire than DeSantis. And DeSantis probably at that stage will face the big question as whether he continues or not. His star has waned.
You mentioned New Hampshire next. It's, of course, always a long road to get to the White House. What do we expect to learn next week in New Hampshire? And I suppose also, can you reflect a little bit on Donald Trump and why people seem to be so willing to vote for someone who's been convicted as a sex offender, who is a fraudster? Why do people still come out for him?
Well, taking that question first, it really is extraordinary from the outside world looking in how Americans can be so persuaded by this guy, as you say, a self-confessed convicted sex criminal, someone who actually failed on many of the things he did when he was in office. But he actually makes Americans feel good. He's funny, he's charismatic, he is attention-grabbing. The court cases actually have given him a huge amount of airtime, and he's managed to try and parry that to make himself look like the victim rather than the perpetrator that many people feel that he is. So it's an extraordinary act of gymnastics, if you like, that Trump has done to manage to actually turn the situation to his advantage. In terms of the other two candidates in New Hampshire, it really is a question of them needing to come through in a big way in order for them to be seen to have a chance in the race. I say it may well be the last huzzah for DeSantis. Nikki Haley needs to actually make some ground and make it clear that she has momentum. Without that, this nomination is Trump's. But as I say, that doesn't necessarily mean that he will win the White House in November. And in fact, as far as the Biden administration are concerned, they're quite pleased with the result. They want to run against Trump rather than Nikki Haley or DeSantis in November, because they see Trump as so flawed and so unpopular with the country as a whole that they see going up against him as the better chance for Biden's victory than going up against Nikki Haley.
Well, we will wait and see what happens in New Hampshire and beyond. David Dunn from University of Birmingham, many thanks.